and welcome to Bentley's Backwoods Bushcraft. And this is Richard, and it's mid-April, and let me repeat that. It's mid-April, and we're still getting snow. It's ridiculous. It's really cold today, but the sun is out, the birds are singing, and I decided that I had to come out for a little walk, so I thought I'd bring you guys along. I just heard a red-winged blackbird. There it is. Hopefully you can hear that. I love that sound. So, what to discuss for today? So, the last month or so, I have been staying up all night long and sleeping during the day when the kids are at school and my wife is at work. It's not necessarily the greatest thing, but that's been my schedule. Ever since that big depressive mood that I went through, that's how my schedule's been since I've gotten out of that depression. But today, of course, it's changed a little bit. I had to take my wife into work because I was supposed to take the van to my cousin's, which is my mechanic, and come to find out, the appointment's not until tomorrow. So but that's cool though, because now I get to come out. So I still stayed up all night. Actually, I went to bed at 12:30 and I woke up at 3:30, and I don't know, it's like 11 o'clock now or whatever, but I'll be up all day, and then hopefully maybe I'll be able to go to sleep tonight at a normal person's schedule. So we'll see. But ooh, American coots. Hold on, I'm gonna show you guys something. Those are called American coots, and from my research, they're not actually ducks. They're not actually considered ducks. I don't know what you would consider them. They look like a duck to me, but they're not considered a duck supposedly. So anyway, where were we at? Oh crap. Okay, we were talking about my cousins. I was supposed to go to my cousins for some mechanical work on the van, but anyway, oh yes, I remember. So anyway, last night I was trying to catch up on some YouTube videos, and I watched some YouTube videos, which I've been doing for about a week or so. I got on one of my subscribers. She does a live stream a lot. Sammi in Australia. Hey, how you doing? But I was talking with her on a live stream, and she was talking about how people are kind of giving her crap for the way she does her survival stuff on her channel. She sits at her house, and like she was making fire starters of some sort. Is what the story came about. People were giving her grief about her not ever going out into the bush or the woods or whatever they call it where she's at, but was giving her grief about not going out and doing stuff out in the woods. And her argument is a sound argument, and I have to honestly say that I have to agree with her on this. It doesn't really matter whether she goes out in the woods and does it or whether she sits at home and does it. She's going to get the same amount of experience out of it. Now, before people disagree with that, let me further express myself on this. I did a video a while back, and if I can find it, I shouldn't say that. If I feel like finding it, I will post a link in this video about it. But it was talking about the difference between knowledge, skill, and experience. And I think this kind of falls under that category, because those three things are very different. So if you really want to understand a little more in depth what I'm talking about there, go watch that video. But in a nutshell, my belief and my interpretation of those words are the following. If somebody has knowledge, then that's just book education. Or that could transform into nowadays sitting on your hiney butt at your house and watching YouTube videos, things of that nature. It's learning about it through reading or watching videos, and there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with doing that. There's plenty of stuff on survival and martial arts, two of my biggest and most favorite things on the planet. There's plenty of stuff that I only have knowledge of when it comes to that. But once you get knowledge, then you can progress and you can gain skill. Now, skill to me is taking that knowledge and doing something with it. For example, taking the knowledge that you've learned either from books or from YouTube or wherever, and learning how to do it. Fire starting, for example. Taking a flint or a ferro rod or a bow drill, a hand drill, anything, and practicing and learning to start fires. You know, you gain skill doing that. Now, once you've gained the skill of doing it, then you can progress even further and get experience with it. Now, to me, experience is the top of the hill. It's much better than knowledge and skill. It's the actual applying of that skill in a realistic situation. Right? You can gain skill in something by doing something, but that doesn't mean you've got experience in it. Experience is applying it, doing it for real. Now, yeah, I could sit at home, or I could come out here in the woods and start a billion fires and, you know, come out, start the fire and go home. You know, I gained skill doing that. Maybe a little bit of experience, but not a whole lot. But if you want to gain experience, you need to apply that skill that you have, and that gives you, hello. Oh, it's catfish. Hold on one second. So I'm walking down the trail and I see this. That's a good size. Wow. sharp, that's some sharp teeth right there. It's like little bristles. So when I say yes, you can sit at home, or you can go in the woods and start fire. You can do any of that, and you can get skilled at it. Now, do I think that that's the ultimate? Is just, you know, learning to make your fire starters, and then learning to work the flint and steel or the ferro rod. That's not the ultimate, but that's really good. I think if you do that and you stop there, if you took every experience that you could get, and we'll use survival, if you take it and put it onto a scale of 1 to 10, I think that knowledge, just knowledge, probably could get you to a 2, maybe a 3, maybe. Skill could get you maybe up to a 5. But anything past that, if you want to go to 6 to 10, then you have to gain experience, I personally think. And I think that learning to make fire starting gear or anything is awesome and commendable. And taking that skill of learning to work it and taking it out in the woods or just in your house and learning to create fire, I think that could take you up to a 5. I think that goes halfway. But I think there's so much more involved with it past that. I think if you want to go to the next level with it, I think you need to gain experience. And I don't mean by, you know, just sitting somewhere and creating a fire or anything. I think you need to apply it a little more in depth to gain that experience, which is something that a lot of us, including myself, don't always really do. There's a lot of stuff that, like I said, I just have knowledge of. I don't have any real skills or any experience at all with. And I'm okay with that, because you can't be skilled or experienced in everything, no matter how good you are. But I do like to take my skills and I like to gain experience with them. I'll go out in the woods and I'll take some gear and I'll spend all day out there and I'll practice what I've learned. I'll practice my knowledge and my skills to gain experience. There was an awesome looking bird. I have no idea what it was. It was moving too fast. It was kind of a yellowish brown color, and it moved really quicker in the trees there. But anyway, so when I say that Sammi is correct, I completely agree. It doesn't really matter. If you're going to gain skill in something, I don't think it really matters where you're at when you gain that skill. Just like experience, it really doesn't, for some things, it doesn't matter whether you're sitting at home or whether or not you're out in the woods, actually, out in the woods. I set up a base camp in my backyard. I built a shelter, and I would go out there and I would work on skills and you know, do all sorts of stuff. And I was just right outside my house in my backyard, but I had a complete camp out there. So you can do it in your yard. It's not a big deal. If you want to sit in your carport or your garage or, you know, in your front room, you can still do it. You can gain skill, and you can even gain experience to some degree, I think, doing that. I do think that if you truly want to gain the best experience that you can possibly gain, I think you need to go into the environment and live it as closely as you possibly can as to a real situation. I think that's the best situation, but it's not always the only situation. So if she wants to sit, you know, in her house or in her yard and create fire starters and practice lighting them, you know, her going in the woods isn't going to really change that. It's not going to change whether, you know, how skilled she gets with that. She can do that anywhere. Now, if she wants to gain experience in a practical sense, then I would suggest maybe leaving the comforts of your home to do that. But it isn't necessary to gain skill. It's not necessary if you want to gain skill. I think it helps sometimes, and I really think if you want to gain any serious practical experience, you need to do that. But just to gain proficiency and skill in something, you don't have to necessarily come out to the woods. So I guess really this video is just oh, that's not good. I'm not going that way.